All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for our special council meeting on November 9th, 2020. I'd like to first acknowledge that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation. And just a preamble regarding COVID-19. Due to the coronavirus COVID-19 emergency, the City of Courtenay, with the authority of Ministerial Order M192, Local Government Meetings and Bylaw Process, COVID-19 Order 3, implemented changes to its open council meetings. In the interest of public health and safety, and in accordance with Section 3.1 of Ministerial Order Number 3 M192, in-person attendance by members of the public at council meetings will be prohibited until further notice. Council meetings are presided over by the mayor or acting mayor, with electronic participation by council and staff via live web streaming. And with that, we can get into the agenda, and we can start off by external reports and correspondence. All right, and that can be receipt of everything, because I think it is just receipt. I don't think there's any motions that are going to be required, but I can pass it over to staff if you'd like to, Mr. Kushner.
Thank you, Mayor. With item 1, with the correspondence from the Deputy Minister, well, first of all, I think it's great news. And I think what it will do is really help local governments like ourselves to alleviate some of the issues, concerning the extra costs that we had to deal with because of COVID-19, and of course the future costs that we'll have as well. You also see a briefing note later on in the agenda that speaks to a little bit from our Director of Financial Services, who is coincidentally away on vacation today. But I think it's fairly self-explanatory, and that we'll be digging into and reviewing all the eligible projects in the context of the 2021 financial plan.
Excellent. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Hillian.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks to staff. Wonderful announcement that I believe it's something in excess of $4 million that we'll be receiving from the province to assist with the recovery efforts in the wake of the pandemic. And one of the things that I brought to your attention, Mr. Mayor, and I believe there's also been discussion with our CAO and finance officer, is the possibility that we reconvene our finance committee to provide a venue for doing some in-depth work in relation to this, and that's something that I'm hopeful that the staff will be able to bring forward. I appreciate that extra meetings are a challenge, but I think if we can find a way to make that a useful process that supports staff rather than adds to their burden, that it will be most worthwhile. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Councillor Hillian, and I couldn't agree more. So I really appreciate you, first of all, chairing the Select Finance Committee and stepping forward at a time when obviously things are challenging, but sort of a ray of hope coming through. So really appreciate that. Any further questions or comments regarding the first one? We'll go on to the second correspondence from the Ministry of Finance. Yep. Oh. Excellent. Thanks again, Councillor Hillian. And I can pass it back over to staff for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think it's just a simple receive. I think it's acknowledgement of some of the concerns that were raised in those meetings, and I guess I would just leave it at that.
Fair enough. I was quite pleased that this time they didn't thank us for the discussion around cannabis tax sharing, that they actually responded in relation to what we actually were talking about. So that was great to see. And again, I think these are things that we're hearing from other municipalities as well. So I think probably the best way forward is potentially putting a motion that would go through to ABIC, UBCM, et cetera. So, but at least to UBCM, since these discussions really do affect the provincial government, but obviously there may be some federal interaction as well. Councillor Hillian.
Thank you, Mayor. And just for the benefit of anybody watching, this is correspondence from the Assistant Deputy Minister of Finance in response to our meetings during the UBCM process, looking for some additional sources of revenue to support municipal government. Apart from what you've suggested, we now have a new provincial government that I believe the election results are official as of this weekend, and I think it might be worth our while at a fairly early opportunity to meet with the MLA and discuss these concerns as well. You never know. We may have a cabinet minister as an MLA. It's a possibility, but in any event, Vancouver Island is certainly going to be heavily represented in the new cabinet, and I think that provides an opportunity for us to press these concerns at that level.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, the next correspondence is from the Deputy Minister, Municipal Affairs and Housing, and basically looking at our affordable and co-op housing initiatives and supports for people experiencing homelessness. And I think unless somebody has any questions or comments regarding it, we'll just receive that as well. And Councillor Hillian.
Sorry to be a bit of a broken record here. I think that the good news here is that we're being encouraged to continue to work with BC Housing and our local agencies. And I did just want to report in that regard that recently Council discussed the possibility of, through the Homeless Coalition, approaching the churches in the Comox Valley to see about the possibility that they might be interested in coming to the fore with building housing on their land and taking advantage of BC Housing funds and such. And that has been discussed with the Coalition to End Homelessness, and they have agreed to take that initiative forward. So I wanted to share that with the rest of Council. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks again, Councillor Hillian, for that. And that's all the correspondence. So all those in favor of receipt? Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thanks very much. Next on the agenda, we do have the briefing note for the Safe Restart, COVID-19 Safe Restart. Excellent. It's been moved and seconded, and back over to Mr. Kushner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to reiterate what I spoke about briefly earlier, the briefing note basically breaks down the process that staff will use going forward with potential projects and utilization of the funds. Councillor Hillian's earlier comments were on the mark. Jennifer Nelson, our Director of Financial Services, actually approached me last week about resurrecting the Select Finance Committee. So that'll be something that we'll discuss upon her return from vacation next week.
Thanks for that update. And next we have a resolution to go in camera. Councillor? Oh, yeah, we should do that. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that passes. Next we have a resolution to go in camera. Councillor Hillian. There we go.
I move that a special in-camera meeting closed to the public will be held November 9th, 2020 at the conclusion of the special council meeting pursuant to the following subsections of the community charter. 91C, labor relations or other employee relations. 91A, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. 91I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public.
Excellent. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? And that passes. Next we have notice of service review for CVEDs from the town of Comox. All right, that's been moved and seconded. And back over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor. This letter serves as official notice that the town of Comox wishes to enter into a service review up to and including a potential service withdrawal. Coincidentally, I have a meeting with the other regional CAOs on Thursday morning, and we'll be discussing this, and I'll report back to council as per our procedure.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? And that passes. And next we have the Royal LePage request for a facility for the Christmas Spirit Hamper Program. All right, it's been moved and seconded. And I'll pass it back over to staff.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. So early last week we received this initial request. We received it before Wednesday, so I was able to take it to a senior leadership meeting that we have weekly on Wednesday mornings. We spoke briefly about it. I did task the rest of the directors to put some thought into potential spaces. I'll be honest, right now it doesn't look like we have a lot of spaces because we either are utilizing them now or will be very soon. But I don't believe this deserves or needs a staff report. I think this is something that staff can work directly with them and provide them facilities if in fact we can find something. And if not, we'll maybe support them in looking for other facilities.
Excellent. Thanks very much. And Councillor Hillian.
Thanks, Mayor. I don't know whether the organization has looked at private facilities that are sitting empty right now, but it's often been the case in the past that real estate agents or other business people who have a building up for rent where they don't have a tenant have been prepared to make those available. And I'm assuming that given the involvement of Royal LePage and other such agencies, they might be able to find that resolution this time without, I mean, obviously we've got limited facilities that staff can make available, but hopefully something can be found through the private sector.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Hillian. And I know when we were doing the agenda review, of course, started spitballing places like the old Canadian Tire and stuff like that, which are fairly large, would really be able to deal with the COVID-19 protocols. But really, yeah, it's outside of the capacity and really the scope of what staff can do. So we're going to do exactly that, have them look if we're not able to find something. So, all right. See no further questions or comments. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that passes, and that leaves us with adjournment. All right. All those in favor? Any opposed? And we are adjourned.